What took place in Minneapolis and the Twin Cities this past April was an absolutely amazing event.
Wonderful people got together, 2,000 people. What I especially like is there are a lot of kids, a lot of young people as well as adults.
We wanted to provide a safe, comfortable environment for youth leaders to share their fabulous work.
Welcome, come on in. We're the Blake School, delighted to be here as part of the Shinnyo-en Foundation 6 Billion Paths to Peace initiative.
One of the workshops was presented by young people and staff from the Blake School, and this was a workshop about their experience with 6 Billion Paths to Peace.
My service path has been one of social justice and education. I've tutored Blake Middle School students through a program called Bear to Bear on Fridays after school.
My personal service path is working with Minnesotans Military Appreciation Fund, which donates funds to military families when their husbands or wives have just returned from war.
One of my also views of service is it's something to give back to your community, because your community is always giving to you, so it's part of your job to give back to your community. And once I'm an adult, I'm planning on creating my own service organization or being a part of another service organization.
One of the other workshops was the Interfaith Youth Council from Orange County.
It is the main goal of the Interfaith Youth Council to bring this generation's youth together on a deeper level, beyond the things that we learn in our schools and the light conversations we have with our friends about what we did on Sunday.
They took us through kind of a sample dialogue exploring different perspectives.
Is there anything specific that someone learned that they didn't know already?
I learned about how media impacts a lot of stereotypes.
For me, it's just one more reminder that we are all the same.
I don't have to understand everything that somebody else believes in order to respect or honor it.
People accept people. It's nothing weird. It's not weird when I see my Muslim friend Matul praying.
One of the great workshops had to do with 6 Billion Paths to Peace, and there was a great wall where so many participants wrote down their own path to peace. A path to peace is an act of service. It can be small or large, and it was so much fun to have hundreds of people getting together and with great artistic treasure or not, writing down, here's what my path to peace is.
I think the main thing that I took from this conference and this trip is gratitude and appreciation for everything that I have, the position I am in to give back, and the people that I got to meet here. No matter what age you are in YA, you can take so much from this conference and this opportunity.
The next session that I attended was Gathering of Elders. This was full of wisdom. I'm going to share my experiences with my fellow YA members in Minnesota and in Chicago, and to spark interest and energy in them that I felt during the conference.
In order to have a tree and fruits on it, so you have to go through a really hard time, because helping others is not an easy path. We are so lucky to be here. It's such a great experience. I cannot wait to really share. I am already texting and sending email about this conference.
It's the only conference I've ever been to that isn't a youth conference, and it isn't an adult conference that's talking about youth. It really is about that partnership and having young people and adults be fully integrated in every day and in every aspect. And it's always amazing and inspiring to be able to see those young people in action, and that in a small way we're helping to move their dreams forward. So it's exciting.
This year, the Shinnyo-en Foundation invited about 9 teenagers from different faith traditions to participate in the annual lantern floating in Hawaii. teens from diverse religions like they were Jewish, Zoroastrian, Muslim, and other religions. The teens gained a lot from this experience because they actively engaged in volunteering to help people by giving them lanterns and hearing their story about why they came to the lantern floating.
And we want to make sure that's okay to broadcast out to me. You're going to see a cue for you to put it on the water.
In addition to helping to volunteer and help support the program of lantern floating, they also were looking forward to floating their own lanterns when they went to the ceremony. They were sitting at tables and they're writing the names of their loved ones on their lanterns. They were drawing designs that meant something to them. And so as the teens from these different faith traditions were seeing other people, adults who had experienced great loss, they also were able to write down their own sense of loss and put that on a lantern as well. When we participated in the ceremony and were present on the beach that evening, they had the chance to be ushered to a special spot there on the beach, and they each rolled up their pants and took off their shoes, and they walked into the ocean, and they held these lanterns that were lit, that had all the love and compassion they had for their ancestors, and at the same time they were asked to put the lantern into the water. And you could sense, it was palpable, how much you could feel a sense of their connection to their ancestors. It was like an ocean of compassion, an ocean of caring, and it's a remarkable sight to see everybody coming from different religious backgrounds joining together for a common purpose. That is to acknowledge how much they loved and cared for their ancestors and their husband or wife that died recently or their children. The next day, we had a chance to have breakfast and to have a chance for the kids to express themselves and what the trip to the lantern floating meant to them, so they could reflect on the meaning of the lantern floating and how that impacted them.
The act of releasing the lantern and writing out all your emotions, I think it was just absolutely beautiful.
Even though I personally haven't lost, I could feel others' loss, and that was really moving to me.
I realized that these beads of light resting on the water were more than just little sparkles, that we had assigned meaning to this light, and it really affirmed for me the power of the profound humanity in all of us.
And I realized just the ceremony, just something as simple as pinning a lantern on the water, I'm just symbolizing what I hope for the world, and although to someone else they might just be just a lantern, to me it's just my call for peace.
Peace is a volunteer event, and I think I really understood that on a very profound level yesterday.
I saw everyone coming together, and I realized there's so much more to this than just me, and I realized that now that I have my peace, I can help others find peace.
It didn't really matter who someone was or what they were saying, what they were feeling, because they were still supported by everyone regardless of what they thought and regardless of what they believed. And to me, like, I come from a place that has a lot of turmoil right now in the Middle East. There's a lot of pretty terrible things happening, and to me, like, that harmony was probably the most beautiful part of the ceremony because it represented such peace.
The purpose of the lantern floating exceeded expectations because the teens bonded with each other, learned a lot about what it means to be of service to others who are suffering great loss. It was just incredible to see that, and if you could talk to any one of these teens, you would be amazed by how impacted they were, and you know there's hope for mankind.
County. It's very beautiful here. Quiet, peaceful, gorgeous trees and beautiful animals. At any moment a deer might be walking by, or a beautiful eagle might be flying through the blue sky.
This year's retreat is very special to us because we really designed this retreat with the intergenerational and interfaith focus. We invited young and older, more experienced people from all around the country who share the mission to really promote youth leadership in a very unique settings.
My path to peace is social activism. One of my major dispositions is that I'm really ambitious.
Friday night, we had Ella V from George Mason University, and she guided us through this beautiful exercise. We started with our name in this circle. What is your name? You know, what is your nickname? And then after that expand to, well, what is your culture and how are you identified by people, male, female? So we get more and more, as the circle radiates out, more and more detailed into our own identity.
I think I'm also an optimist.
She had us put down what we are, like who we are, what makes us culturally, and not necessarily by actual ethnicity, but like what we enjoy.
Perseverance is a big thing.
Things that characterize who we are and how that could lead to a path to peace for us, or how does that dictate our personality?
There are a lot of places I can start to answer that question.
The activity we did with the fellows was really powerful. We broke up into 3 groups. The 3 groups rotated around so that each group could hear what the projects the fellows were doing.
I'm an economics major, and I've been working on an internship in microfinance with youth who want to start their own businesses in Argentina.
This summer, I was doing an internship at a refugee resettlement agency in Denver.
Is there something I can do to help others know how to treat each other or how to communicate?
These focus groups are great. It gives us a chance to kind of succinctly and clearly explain what we're hoping to do in the next year, and then also to get some specific feedback and suggestions about how to deepen and kind of expand our projects.
We talked about these projects, programs that we're involved in. And folks were giving us feedback, and some folks had questions, some folks had suggestions. It was really helpful, actually. You know, some feel-good comments and some challenging questions too. You know.
Everyone is encouraged to participate. All thoughts, feelings, and ideas are welcome.
We broke into small groups to do an exercise that helped us to examine our strengths and our talents. We all had to write down what our gifts were, what our passions are, and how they lead us in our own personal paths to peace.
Each one of us has a skill, at least one skill.
When I dedicate myself to something, I really want to put all of myself into it.
I love to listening to people, what's their stories, what they're saying.
Kind of start thinking about what are the things I can do.
It really helped to be able to see something on paper, the words that were coming from the group. And then together we looked and compared and tried to figure out what we had in common and what we could offer to each other.
One of the activities we do on the retreat is to have people experience the Labyrinth. And the Labyrinth is treated as like a personal journey. It's a journey to self-discovery. It's intended to help people really slow down their path in life and to really assess what's important to them.
I started thinking about life, like just whole journey of life, you know, just how the traffic flow sometimes goes smoothly, it slows down. You also have to be mindful of what everyone else is doing. You know, maybe they're meditating, they want to have their own space. So while kind of respecting what they had to do, you know, I also wanted to see what I could do.
you keep your pace, but you can just feel the connections with people on the map too, because you will cross people, you will have some connections with people. This is very interesting.
It's intended to help people really slow down their path in life and to really assess what's important to them. And what I hope that people gain from the Labyrinth is that they find it as a path to finding their true self, a path to being authentic for themselves and to become more people of more integrity. I think the Shinnyo-en Foundation has really been able, through the 6 Billion Paths to Peace project, to be able to find a way to empower people to change the world in the way they see fit. Because there's many paths to peace, more than 6 billion paths to peace, and each one is trying to find their own way.
Interesting thing is, we don't tell them what to do, how to do, but we touch somehow their heart and their mind, dedication, love for others. And they feel energized and recognized, acknowledged, and they take off, do a fabulous thing in the world. And that's a joy to everyone in Shinnyo-en Foundation.